and I am so excited for today's show. You have no idea how much I have looked forward to this show. This like the topic on its own gets me really excited because it's money, right? Not just money, it's future money. Like you don't have to worry about, you know, oh, how am I going to survive? How am I going to take care of my kids, my dreams, all of that. So it gets me so excited when we're talking of investments, financial freedom, all of that. But I'm going to try and introduce you real quick and let you, tell us more about yourself because, girl, you wear a lot of hats. Okay.
Mhm.
But yeah, guys, welcome to the show. This is Healthy Bants with Aidi. And as always, I'm your girl, Aidi. And I have with me one of my childhood friends. You will not believe what life has done, right? Life has brought us full circle. And now we're back talking about things that affect us as adults, as young adults, and just talking about our future. Financial security is I think one of the most critical topics that any young person should be interested in discussing, exploring, whatever that looks like. And today I have with me Freckie Goddey. Welcome to the show. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay, so I'm going to let you tell us a bit about yourself because I want the people to know that I'm talking to an MBA. Okay, I'm not. It's not. So tell us, please.
Okay, so my name is Freckie Goddey. A lot of my friends they call me Freckie. And first, I started out my career as a finance analyst, and then a solutions architect, and then programs coordinator. And apart from that, I'm also an entrepreneur, being a baker, fashion designer, and I sold some things, some things here and there. And I love reading. I love watching movies. I love shopping. I love running as well. Yeah. And I think that's just that about me. Want to keep it short, simple.
Yeah. And in case you're wondering, she's an Aquibum babe. Okay, so it, we enhance, the fact that Aquibum voices, young Aquibum voices, we are, taking our spaces, especially in this world, and making sure people understand that it doesn't really matter where you're from. It's not, oh, I'm not, I'm not from this particular tribe, or I'm not of, I guess, like if you're not part of the Yoruba, Hausa, and Igbo in Nigeria, it's like,
Mhm.
where do you really belong? So I try to make it a point and to emphasize that, hey, we are Akwabomites like you or whoever else is watching, right? We're Nigerians, and it doesn't really matter. Just stop looking at your background and saying, hey, I cannot make it. We are here. We are proofs. So, um, but before we get into it, Saidi, Saidi. I've been talking about it the whole week, like just telling everybody on my social media that we went to school together. Like we used to sit next to each other in secondary
Exactly.
school.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's wild. And right now
Yeah,
we are, yeah, I think it's great to look back and say, hey, we've come a really long way.
exactly.
So,
And you're
but
doing
I know
actually
people.
good yourself. Yeah.
Girl, we're trying over here. Every day we're hustling, right? Um, but really, I don't want us to just keep going on about ourselves because there's a lot of catching up we would do
Mhm.
if that's. So let's get into the topic. Investing as a young person.
Yeah. Very interesting topic. Very interesting topic. And I'm so excited to be doing this because one thing I'm very passionate about is um, a lot of times I see a lot of young people have great potentials. I remember the second place I worked, I was privileged to, talk to a whole lot of people, business men and women, most especially young. And I learned that a lot of people have potentials in them, a lot of potentials to be great and do great things. And it's just one or two small, very small factors that pull them back from doing it. And once you point them in the right direction, show them the right strategy, they are right back on track and they are making things happen. So this topic is quite dear to me, and I'm so excited to begin to.
Yeah. Um, how did you get into, because you mentioned your first job was being a financial analyst.
Yeah.
I envy you because I had to become my own financial like analyst, I guess. I had to like informally become that for myself. I started researching into financial freedom when I was still in college. I started looking
Mhm.
into like how can I retire early? Like how people, I'm not going to work till I'm 60, 65, and then that's when I have to start enjoying the good things of life. Like that did not make sense to
Mhm.
me. So
Yeah.
how did you get into, becoming a financial analyst?
Okay, so actually, my first job was with a bank, and I really didn't like the routine work. And I knew I had to do something very fast so that, I mean, I spoke to people that were there 5 years, 7 years, and they were basically doing the same thing I was doing. I knew that I had to do something very fast. I started taking on courses in finance because I was in the finance sector. So I realized I love everything financial analysis, and I love working with numbers. If you can remember back then in school.
Oh, I do
So once
remember.
I started, yeah, so once I started taking these courses, I an opportunity found me to work as a financial analyst, which was amazing. It was so amazing, and it was there that I spoke to one of my colleagues, and she was like, she wants to retire when she's 35. I remember when I first heard that. I think I was 27 then. And I was like, what's she feeling like? Like I was like,
Who
then my
are you?
mindset is like, you have to work till you're 65, 75, if not 80, and not stretching it before you can gain financial freedom. So I was like, when I sat down and realized the opportunities that are available to us, seeing what you can do if you are in the right environment with the right set of people. I mean, every day I went to work, I realized that it is very, very possible to actually retire at the age of 35 if you want to. So yeah, that's really opened me up to a whole lot of opportunities when it comes to business.
Yeah. You brought up a really important point. The opportunity found you, right?
Yeah,
Like you were taking courses, you were investing in yourself, right?
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
which I think is probably one of the first misconceptions that I like to immediately, try and cover or explain to people. When you're thinking of investing, the very first thing you need to consider is your mindset. Like
yeah.
that is very
Very
crucial.
important.
So, how did you get over that? Like, what
Okay.
helped
Yeah.
you?
Okay. First thing I mentioned was the environment I found myself. It was a fintech, and they had a lot of brilliant minds, very young, brilliant minds there. So first was the people around me, how they were thinking. It's completely changed my mind. And I remember I was in a meeting and we were talking about investment, which was good. I'm investing in stocks, real estate, and all of those
Hmm.
things, which is amazing, by the way. But I remember back then when I was working as a financial analyst, I think I was earning about 80,000.
I think we lost you for a minute. She'll have to repeat that. So she's earning 80,000. but I think her network is networking, and we will have her back soon. But please share this live with your friends and your family members. Share it on Facebook, share on, WhatsApp, share it everywhere. Just leave the link right there, and anybody that wants to join and wants to learn from this conversation will have the opportunity to learn. So don't hesitate to also react to this live. However, the live makes you feel, react to it, and let's know that we are not just talking to ourselves. I would like for this to be an interactive session. So leave your thoughts in the comments and share. She's going to join me again soon. Um, and then we're going to continue discussing. But let me know if you're learning something so far, right? If you're learning something so far, please, again, drop it in the comments, and we'll get right back into it. So you were saying that you were earning about 80,000. And I was
Yes.
just telling the people 80,000 naira, oh, not dollars, because
Yeah, eighty
you
thousand
know,
naira.
it humbles you to learn and be like, what can I use to compensate for the I guess the low income that I'm earning at this point. Continue.
Yeah.
We
Can you hear
lost
me
you. We
clearly?
lost you. Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Okay, so as I was saying, I spent about 40,000 on transport and or 30,000 towards financial investment, financial analysis. I'll become a better person at what I was doing. I mean, I started with 80, but I didn't want to be at 80 um, for like maybe 2, 3 years. I really, really
Mm-hmm.
wanted to do. And just to add, my values are passion, integrity, and growth. Growth is very, very important to me, whatever it is that I find myself doing. So I kept investing in myself. Sometimes, yes, it's good to save, but I think there's a certain point in your life that you need to invest, pour back into yourself. It's not only when you are starting off, even when you're in the middle of your career. Yes, there's a time you need to set out good amount of money to invest and pour back into yourself. Because, for instance, take that I was trying to save, like, out of that 80K, I was trying to save like maybe 20K or 30K on a monthly basis, which savings are very good. And maybe at the
Yeah.
end of the year, I would have like 120,000
Mm-hmm.
compared to using that savings as an investment, going back into myself. And then the next year, by God's grace, I'm no longer earning 80,000. I'm looking at maybe 400K or 200K. A lot of times those investment gives you that leap. Like, it depends on what
Yes.
you're learning how to do. It gives you that leap. It's not, normally in the workspace, you're looking at maybe 15%,
Mm-hmm.
20%. It will not be so high compared to investing in yourself and getting something that portrays your worth and value. So get a new job and you're earning 400. That means you can afford to save and invest maybe 300 or 200K, depending on what you're looking at. And that is
Exactly.
at the end of the year, you're looking at if you're saving 200K, the end of the year, you are looking at 1.44 million naira compared to the previous year when you were saving just 20K. And at the end of the year, you go back with the
120.
240. So, I mean, that's just what I wanted to highlight from that.
Yeah. That's insane. That's an insane leap. And that's I mean, when somebody just starts working, right? You have to humble yourself and take that low pay, but at the same time, you have to have that mindset of I'm not going to be here in a year. I'm not going to be here in 2 years. I won't be earning this money because the investments you're
Mhm.
doing or pouring back into yourself is going to give you that advantage. Another company will be like, oh, you have this experience and you know this, come, let's pay you more money, right? So as you and another
Yeah.
thing you mentioned is as you're pouring into yourself, you're doing it very deliberately. You're not just trying to, oh, let me learn this one, let me learn this one. You're actually focusing and saying, where do I see this contributing to my experience that I'm getting right now that will give me that leap?
Mhm.
Like from 80K to earning,
Yeah.
more than double, that's
Mhm.
good results in my, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, very good. Another thing I wanted to point out is whatever you choose to, if you are investing in yourself, maybe in learning, you don't do it in silos. Some people would, okay, you want to learn for like 6 months, nobody's seeing what you are doing, and when you come out, fine, I don't know what works for you, but I will just share my own experience. As I was learning,
Mhm.
every project I did, everything I learned, I put it out there. I learned this, I spoke to friends, I spoke to families. I was also very much active on LinkedIn. I did this, I did that, this is what I did, and all of that. So the right people, I was attracting the right people to look at my page and take interest in what I was doing. That's the next thing, surrounding yourself with the right community of people, your friends. It's very much interesting. I mean, if you look at what's going on today, you see a lot of business entrepreneurs or people online. Yeah, they form tribes now. A lot of people are going into creating communities, and that has its advantages because once you've invested in yourself, learning and all of that, the next thing is to discover a community, a close knit community. I don't know how to explain it, but it works like magic
It really
because
does.
yeah, yes, it does. Now, apart from, yeah, I know we are talking about investment. Apart from investment that we put out there on social media, not social media, sorry, on investment platforms and all of that, there are crazy mouth-watering investments that you would not see out there. It's usually in communities. So, for instance, maybe your $10 Dangote, you will see them necessarily with, oh, there's this opportunity um, to have like 100% ROI. There's this business opportunity that we need to take advantage of. You won't see all of those things out
For
there.
those wondering, ROI means return on investments.
Yeah, yeah, return on investment. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
So all those things, those people have these close knit communities that they belong to, that you will see such amazing opportunities there. So whether it's with your families, whether it is with your friends, whether it's with your former schoolmates, as far as you could trust each other, there's trust amongst you guys, and you guys know each other, coming together to build a community to make wealth together. I think that's one of the strategies that we wanted to highlight as well.
Yeah, so, whoa, you're giving us lots and lots of gems. So you're not just investing in yourself, guys. You are, okay, well, after investing in yourself and you are also selling yourself, right? I think
Yeah.
that's probably key. You're selling those skills, not like in a market where you're selling stuff, but you're putting those skills out there in sorry, on platforms like social
Mm-hmm.
media. Like you'll be surprised how many, what kind of community you start forming on
Yeah.
LinkedIn, on X, I mean, even Facebook, right? People who either are doing that or did that, they can see the seriousness in you. They're like, oh, this person has learned this skill, they are ready,
Mm-hmm.
right? Let me share this piece of information, let me bring them onto this group, let me reach out to them or whatever, and that's how you build that community, right? So it's not just, I mean, even in real life, right? Because I mean, we're talking of building this community on social media and on professional platforms like LinkedIn, but what about real life? How do you, because some people find it difficult to break out of the social media like community, how do you then translate that into real life if you don't have any family or friends to partner up with? How do you find those communities in real life, like in your town or in your country or whatever that looks like? How did that work for you?
Okay.
Did did you hear my last question?
No, I didn't hear your last question.
Okay, so I was asking, apart from building the community online, right? You want it to translate into real life where people can trust you and say, hey, there is a property here that we should invest in, or there is a business here we should look into. This person has been around for 10 years, 15 years,
Mm-hmm.
and they are ready to scale. How do you translate that community into real life? How did you find your community in real life outside of social media?
Oh, okay, great. Amazing question. So first, I would want to start from home, and this might not be a very popular opinion. Um, I want to paint the scenario. So, for instance, we are investing in maybe stocks, and usually on an annual basis, the return on investment is usually between 9% to 13%, which
Mhm.
is great.
Between
Not
how
really
many
so
percent?
maybe 9 and 13 or 15. There are a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times in my
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
um, but if you look at sometimes we turn a blind eye to the business that is in our community. When I say community, maybe in our space,
Mm-hmm.
we've watched that business while we're growing up. So, for instance, if we think about it, we cast our minds back, there's this particular tailor or designer that you think of back home that has been in business for years. Maybe you've known her since you were small. All of you made dresses with her. She's amazing. The clothes that she makes are perfect, but she's still in her one man
Small
shop
shop.
sewing
Mm-hmm.
and all of those things. No good, no noticeable growth and all of that. Or you cast your mind back. A lot of us, especially maybe those of us from maybe Akwa Ibom or Nigeria, I should say, if we look back, we have our parents have farmlands or lands that they are not really using commercially. I'm going to
Oh, I think connection is playing games with us, but we will continue.
okay. Is network okay? Okay,
It's
sorry.
better now. You stopped at, for instance, your parents have farmlands that they're not using
Exactly.
commercially.
Yes, yes, they're not using commercially. So if you are looking to invest, you look at that fashion business. These are people in your community that you can go into conversation with. If I'm bringing this amount to expand this business, this is the return on investment you'll be able to make. If you are selling so number of dresses, if you have 50 customers and in a month you are making like 20 dresses, if we increase it to, if I invest in you and we increase those number of dresses to like 50, 100 a month, this is the number of profits that you'll be making. You guys come into some form of
Agreement.
agreement. You realize that the money you would make maybe in maybe 2 years time. I don't want to be like, oh, 6 months, 1 year. There are a lot of businesses that takes time to grow. In two
Mm-hmm.
years time will be more than what you would have gotten on an annual basis if you're investing in already established businesses. So that's one strategy I want us to look at. Investing within. Look at your friends, your space. You've seen this person that has always been putting themselves out there in their business, very diligent. That's one thing. And I want to also, from the investor standpoint, and those people that and those businesses that will be benefactors of your investment. One thing I love to emphasize on is integrity. If you are faithful in it, you definitely be faithful in more. You've
Exactly.
taken yeah, you've done business with this person and you realize that this person is not just like any other person. If you give this person 1,000 naira, the person will give you better
We'll be
account
accountable to it. Yeah.
and all of that. Another thing I want to emphasize is I know maybe um, the usual thing people do, what is widely practiced is maybe they'll give you money to do something, and then it's like they are working for you, and you are the one collecting all the profits and just giving them maybe peanuts or what. I want us to look at it more like a partnership. There's this thing that comes with ownership when the other person on the receiving end, maybe the tailor that is back at home, sees it that I own this thing too. You are not paying her to do what you want her to do. You are in partnership with that person.
Hmm.
That greed of we say, oh, because I know a lot of people will be like, they can't do that because people run away with your money,
Yeah.
get all of those things. But if we look at it from a standpoint of ownership, you guys are coming together to own something. You guys are coming together to own and push a brand. I think it will go a very long way. A lot of us have this soul. I want to do my business alone. My business is in my name. I want to run it alone. I want to earn my money alone, which is perfect, which is okay. A lot of people, some people cannot work with others, but if you are looking to go far, if you are looking to hit the global market, if you are looking to
To scale.
expand, yeah, to
Hmm.
scale, you should be open to investment from other people that have the same mindset as yours. Because if you look at if you study other big businesses, a lot of them did not start alone. Started with friends, they
Absolutely.
started with their communities and all of that. So it's one thing that we as Nigerians, as Africans, we should look into. We have someone like producing an amazing product in our community that has been doing it for 10, 15, 20 years that hasn't really gone anywhere. I realize that if 5
They
million,
need
10
help.
million, yes, if
Hmm.
5 million or 10 million is put into the business and with the right strategy, this is the
Right.
ROI that we'll be looking at on a
Yeah.
yearly or monthly basis. So,
Absolutely. So you've actually, I wish I was writing it down because you've mentioned so many great points, right? You don't want to be greedy with some other person's money. If someone shows interest in investing in your business, it's not because, I mean, especially if you know that this person is not trying to own you, they're not trying to get you to
mm-hmm.
work for them. Like it's still your
Yeah.
business. It can still be in your name, it can still be in your family name, and this person will
Mm-hmm.
own equity, right? This person will own a part of that business and you own majority of it. Never ever be like,
Mhm,
oh, okay, this person has brought all this, big bulk sum of money. Let me
mhm,
give them 50% of my business that I've been doing for 15 years. Don't do that because some investors will also try to be very greedy, right? They will try
exactly.
to, because they know you have a great product. Nobody will ever come to you to invest in your business if they don't see potential. So don't let
Mhm,
anybody gaslight you and say, "Oh, after all, if not because of me." No, they know that you have the right skills. They know you have
mhm.
the right products. So don't sell yourself short as a business owner and just allow another person to come and make all the
Yeah,
decisions for you. Make sure it's a true partnership. Make sure that things are written down on paper, involve, lawyers. Make sure that you're
exactly.
not just trusting blindly, because when it comes to do with money, people can be funny,
Very
and
funny.
very, very, and
Yeah,
honestly, I mean, even the Bible talks about it, right? The love of money is the root of all evil. Money on its own is not
mhm,
bad, okay? It's the love of
mhm.
it, is the people who will do anything to get
Yeah.
money, right? Whether
Mhm,
it's legal or, it affects another person, they don't care. If you
mhm,
if you find such investors, run. You don't need those kind of investors. Um,
mhm, mhm,
and at the same time, I think for me as an investor, if I want to invest any local business, which I do a lot. For instance, this dress I'm wearing is my sister's brand, and she's been making clothes for about 10 years now. And
Yeah.
when I moved away from Nigeria, and I was like, she can be doing so much, so much more sales. She can be making much more revenue than this. And I did not necessarily want to go into a partnership with her. She's my sister, so obviously I want her business to succeed. But I had to, I had to have that tough conversation with my sister and go, if you want to take your business from where it is right now to where it should be, or where you see it in your mind, you need to start thinking of like a business plan. You need to actually think of, where do I see this business in 5 years, in 10 years?
Mhm.
Investors will not just come to you with, oh, I have a great product. Oh, I've been around for 15 years. That is good for proof of work, for them to see you actually can deliver. But that's not, they want to know, how much is your business going to make my money, right?
Yeah.
Because because they want their money to work for them. So you have to be able to, as a business owner, it's so, so important. If you don't know how to do it, go and learn. Watch YouTube videos. How can you articulate your business and tell an
Mhm.
investor, hey, for a fact, if you put your money in here, this money will help us scale in this way. This money will help us employ more people. This money will help us go to a bigger space. It will be used for marketing. It will, whatever. You have to be able to
Mhm.
articulate that. Nobody will sell your market for you. Nobody.
Yeah.
So I love all the points that you touched on,
Mhm.
because it's a win-win situation for everybody. It's a win-win for the owner of the business. It's a win-win for the person investing, the investor, and it's even a big win for the local economy, for the people
Mhm.
you're employing.
Exactly.
Other
Mhm.
You're employing people in other families to be able to take care of themselves. So like, that's actually the best kind of investments to do, to look at your community, look at your family members that are very talented, very skilled, and say, hey,
Mhm.
you've been doing this thing for 20 years, and you're still stuck in this, especially if you know how to help them build, that business plan, if you know how to explain to them how to really hit that global market, like you said.
Mhm.
You have to be also willing as an investor to bring in that knowledge, because sometimes they don't know. If they knew, they won't
Mhm.
be where they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah.
And it's
It's
about that point you raised. A lot of times is the solution is not necessarily money. I know sometimes you'll be like, oh, it's money you need. You're like, okay, take this amount and you expect
if
something.
you want.
Exactly. So, I mean, you have to, that knowledge is very important, breaking down that business, making the person see the numbers, see the connections. If you are producing 20 clothes, this is the maximum amount you will make. If you are producing 20, 100, this is the amount to get. You need to do this to get this. Just those simple things. It's a lot of times it's I used to tell people that a lot of people complain, oh, I don't have money to start this business, I don't have money to do this. And you ask the person, okay, who are your clients? How are you projecting yourself? How are you putting yourself out there? Let me see the quality of what you are doing. Let me see the quality of the work that you are doing. And when they show you all of these things, you're like, the problem is not money. The problem is not money. I tell people that a lot of times money is the least resource that you need for your business. If you are very passionate about your business, it will show in everything that you do, even though money might not necessarily be there. It will show in how you communicate with your customers, it will show in how you project your business, put your business out there. It will show in the quality of work that you do. Like it will just show how you carry your business. And then when money comes, money is like the icing on the cake, blows up everything because once money comes and the quality of your product is not good, you end up making at first we were making 20 products for 20 persons. Those ones were not even angry. They'll be angry, vexing. What kind of product is this? then money will now come. You are now making 100 products for 100 angry
100
persons.
bad
Come on.
products for 100, like
Exactly,
that's
100 bad products for
ooh,
100 persons. It's and before you know, 100 persons scattered across Nigeria or wherever,
and giving
and
you
that's
bad reviews.
giving you bad reviews. That's crazy. That business will just fold up, and
Yeah.
nobody wants to take it away. Yeah, going forward. So it's very important that in as much as you want to put money on the table, make sure that this person knows exactly what they are doing in that business.
Wow. Oof, I'm trying to make sure that we get a lot of, I mean, at least I think we have about five important questions that people were really
Yeah.
asking, that I wanted us to talk about, and I think we've
Mhm.
mentioned some of them. But I would love for us to talk about the why behind investing, like not just for the investor, because again, if you have the money, you can invest. But at the same time, if you don't have the money, at least have the skills, have the be able to make the product, right?
Mhm.
So let's talk about the why, because the why, the reason for going into business at first is the thing that will sustain you when you're not making sales, when you do not find that angel investor to bring in money. The reason for going into that business is what will keep you, right?
Mhm.
So having, you've done all different kinds of, businesses, you've been a baker, you've you've done a lot of things that I know personally, and the things that I probably don't even know about, right? How did you keep, what was the why for you? Like, what was that thing, right? Whether it's a secure financial future, for me, it's I want to retire early. Like, I want to retire in my 40s when I
Mhm.
can still run, when I can still, like, you know, ride bikes or something, or have fun with my family and friends. That's why I want to retire. So for you, what is the why?
Oh, okay. Great question. So, when I was much younger, and I had friends when I was much younger in primary school, I think so. And my dad and mom, they would pay my fees and then give me like pocket money and all of that. And I turn around and I see that maybe I'll have some discussion with my friend, and she'll be like, she can't go to school because she doesn't have money to buy the application form. I know back then I used to gather my savings, and when it was a meaningful amount, I'll take it and I'll give it to her, and I'll be like, go and get the form so that you could buy this application form so you could also go to school. I did it a lot when I was much younger. In fact, even when I'm still, I'm still young. Even at this point in my life, I had to like tell myself, Reiki, spend your money on yourself. Spend your money on yourself because it just comes naturally to me to lend a helping hand where I can. And this is my why of investing. So it's not just for me, it's so that I'll be able to give if someone's actual need is finances, I'll be able to give that money to the person. Like, okay, if this is the reason you want to get this application form, and it's because of money I'm not getting it. This is it. I want to be able to help not just myself, not just my family, but everyone around me who genuinely needs financial. So this is my way to have enough for generations and generations to come, and also to make life very good to the best of my
To have
capability.
options, right?
Yes,
To have options in
yes.
life.
And definitely to retire early. Yeah, yeah,
Amen.
yeah.
Yeah. You've mentioned something that I wasn't even thinking about, which is I mean, not like I wasn't thinking about it, because we're both doing it. You and I are on the same board of directors
Mhm,
for an NGO, and what that NGO does is giving back to our communities, right? Giving back to our
mhm,
communities in
mhm,
Akwa Ibom, educating um, teenagers with the kind of skills, that they need.
Mm-hmm.
I have 3 degrees, 3 college degrees, and I'm sorry, none of those things come into play when you're comparing it to something you can do with your hands, right? Or
Yeah.
something that, like, yeah, you can learn all you want, but if those skills are not practical, then
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of useless when it comes to generating revenue. So, we are both on that board, and it gives me a lot of pleasure, because that is something that should be one of the reasons why most people should want to build wealth, right? Not just for
Yeah.
yourself, not just for your family, but this money can help my family reach out to another family
Mm-hmm.
and help them, you know, live comfortably, or even teach them how to also be financially independent. Because every
Mm-hmm.
time, I think of it this way, every time a family in a community becomes financially independent, their main goal should be, how can we make another family just as financially independent,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that creates that ripple effect. When people see that, oh,
Yeah.
it's not magic. Like, it's not magic, right? It's
Yeah.
not,
Yeah.
oh, it's not juju. You can actually go from being one of the poorest in the entire village to becoming one
Mm-hmm.
of the most wealthiest, with
Yeah.
just tweaking a little bit of strategy and
Mm-hmm.
having the right information. So, I think that is such a great point that you raised,
Yeah.
because yes, only you can't give what you don't have, right? If you don't have money, you can't give another person. If you don't have
Mm-hmm.
the knowledge, you can't share it. So, yeah, I think that's wonderful, because that's a really noble why, not just for myself, but for my community at large. So I
Yeah,
think that's
that's
great.
very interesting. That's interesting. I would love to ask you a question. So, so at this point in your life, would you say that you're working for money, or your money is working for you? Because I know you've come a long way. You've come a long way. You've built a whole lot of. You've done a lot of things, and I see you always. So at this point in your life, is your money working for you? Or is it working
Um, I think both direction, and I want to get to a point where 90% of my money is working for me, and not
for
just me
you?
working for money. Obviously, I'm still young. I just turned 30, so I'm still in that process of, you always need extra income here and there, especially
Mm-hmm.
n-
Mm-hmm.
when especially when everybody around you is not yet financially free. I think that's the
Yeah.
key point, right? Because for you to
Mhm.
sustain and even help other people, you need to be very, very
Yeah.
financially free, and your money needs to be, working and making more money for you. So I think right now I might say 50-50, where part of my money is making money for me in terms of like startups that I've
Mhm.
already launched and working towards, and also investing in stocks and properties and other people's businesses. But
Yeah.
you definitely I well, my aim is to get to a point where it's 90%, like 10% is, oh, okay, I'm doing some consultation work, and just like I don't have to think
Mhm.
about it too much. Or even this YouTube, right? I try to encourage people, oh, you think you don't have anything to say? Trust me, you do. Your experiences in life, those are things you want to share with other people. The things you've learned all these years, you have all these degrees, you have something you should share with people who are trying to get into that career. You have a lot, right? So my YouTube at some point was start generating revenue for me. That's passive income. That's my money, my time working and producing money for me. So, I think that's such a great question, because yeah, I definitely plan on getting to a point where my money makes more money for me, and not just me constantly having to work for the money, before I can survive, or before I can continue my lifestyle, if that makes
Very
sense. But
interesting. Yeah, very
yeah.
interesting. One thing I got was, I mean, right now you're still young, and that's foundation. You're building that foundation, the YouTube channel, and a lot of things that you are doing. So, I mean, right now, I'm still working for money, but at the same time, um, making sure that I'm putting structures in place to make my money work for me in certain years to come. So
Exactly.
yeah, exactly.
That's that key word, structure. I was when I rejoined Twitter, now X, I made a post about I pretty much just poured my heart out into telling people who I was because I realized that for people to listen to you, they have to kind of know,
Mm-hmm.
where you're coming from or how did you
Mm-hmm.
get to this point. And I had to tell them, hey, I am the daughter, the third child of two teachers, secondary school teachers. And if you're Nigerian, then you know precisely the kind of salaries that teachers earn. And but the thing that I'm very happy about is that even though my parents were teachers, I mean, because my parents were teachers, they understood the importance of education and the
Yeah.
importance of critical thinking. But what they did not talk to us about ever was financial freedom. And I had to learn as an adult that the only reason my
Mm-hmm.
parents never talked about money or financial future, blah blah blah, was because they just did not know. Like that generation of Nigerians, nobody taught them how to, not just save and save and save, but to invest. And it wasn't like a household discussion in most middle class families, right? So I had to learn that it's not just about, like, the education is good, it's great, but if you're not actively building structures that
Yeah.
will build, like, when you have structures are systems, and it's practically how God built this world. You create structures that are money making machines. The reason why
Mm-hmm.
Otedola, them, Dangote, the reason why it seems as though every year they are becoming richer and richer is because they have already built the structures that even if they die, those structures are spinning money.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So um so yeah, I had to learn that. And oof, I mean, it was a hard pill to swallow because you
Mm-hmm.
have to then, like you said, you have to then pour back into yourself all the money that you think, oh, I'm just saving for, a rainy day. You have to then use that money to start building those
Mm-hmm.
structures. And
Mm-hmm.
it's that point in, I guess, in some entrepreneurs' lives where they can give up because that money can finish, or you
Mm-hmm.
can be too ambitious, like I can be sometimes. Or you can you can try to help every other person but yourself. But
Mm-hmm.
I had to learn that in order to build the structure that will end up supporting that community, that will help end up
Mm-hmm.
supporting the people around me, I had to be selfish a little bit and say, hey, this money is not just for me, it's actually for the community. But I know I have the technical know-how on how to build
Mm-hmm.
these structures. So that's what I'm practically focusing on, just like you, just building those structures that in years to come, they will be the things that will sustain, keep building or keep making that money. So yeah, structures are so 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 important. We don't talk
Yeah.
about them enough. Yeah.
Yeah, true. I just wanted to say something on that. Um, it's okay when you're building structures and it doesn't work out. And sometimes you try to invest. Investment is a risk. No matter what
A
you
big
learn, there's
risk.
no, yeah, it's a risk. But the truth is that life itself is a risk. Waking up every morning and stepping out of your house to go to work, it's a risk. Anything can happen.
It's a big risk.
But you will
Yes.
always wake up. You will always go out to work to do one or two things.
As
So
long
the
as you're
fact
not
that
dead.
exactly. So the fact that you probably had a bad experience, maybe when you tried investing or building structures in regards to this, it shouldn't cloud your judgment. It shouldn't um, put you against, oh, I can't invest in anybody, I can't invest in Nigerian businesses, all of them are this, all of them are that. Nah, just just do your due diligence, pray about it, and pray a lot,
Hmm.
pray about
Yeah.
it, and then just do your homework around that business. Make sure the person you're engaging with, his mindset is right on track, aligns with what you're thinking, and then um, that's wanted to encourage someone that probably you're like, nah, when it comes to investments, nah, I'm not doing it anymore. I've been burned. I'm no longer taking that risk. I get to understand. You just have to try and definitely get
You
it.
Yeah, no, to add to that, I think we're coming to the end of our show today. But to
Mm.
add to add to what you just said, I've heard a lot of people, I live in the US now, and I've heard a lot of people say, "Oh, I can never invest in Nigerian businesses," or like the government is this, the government is that. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, it's like governments come and go, right? But certain things are like certain basic needs, like they need to feed, they need to live in a house, they need to transport yourself. Those things will never go away, right? So if you're investing and you've gotten burned before and it was even for a smaller amount of money, thank your stars, like thank God, because I don't think that I know any big businesses, whether in Nigeria or across Africa or even in the US, where the people who started out did not lose. You will meet bad partners, you will meet greedy partners, you will meet people who have no interest in serving the
Yeah.
people you're trying to
Mm-hmm.
serve, right? And
Mm-hmm.
like you said, do your due diligence. Like, not don't just ask questions, ask to see documents, have people who have something that you can leverage on, right? And be like, okay, because of this, and sometimes go by recommendations, right? Because sometimes you don't just want to believe what you see on social media, somebody coming to say, oh yeah, da da da, I'm this and that, and you don't know this person in real life, you've never met them before, and you don't know anybody that can vouch for them, and they don't have any sustained, I guess, like presence for a
Mm-hmm.
really long time, that you can look back and say, okay, this person is not going anywhere, this is a community business.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think I think it's a mindset, honestly. It's a defeatist mindset, to where you go, oh, I'm not going to try again. Like, life is not already risky. I'm sorry. Get over yourself and just do better. um
Yeah.
yeah, I hope we have some time to read the comments. Okay, we have so many people. Oh my God, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Giving back is key. So much insights, enlightening. It's good to be here. Learn to be good with yourself. Great to be here. Beautiful, both of you. Thank you so much. That teacher salary. Yeah, I mean, bruh. Or sometimes if your parents were not even educated, if they had nothing else to fall back on, right? You have to be the
Mm-hmm.
one to be like, you have to be the torch bearer, right? And push
Yeah.
for almost every other person. But as you're learning, make sure you're teaching your community. Make sure the people that you surround yourself with, you're
Mm-hmm.
you're bringing them along, because
Mm-hmm.
if you end up being the king or the queen of the trenches, oh, I pity you.
Yeah, yeah. You go back. You go
Like,
back. Yeah.
no, I feel like this is why people end up making it so far, and then because of envy or jealousy, because you had no desire, you did not care to teach your community
Mm-hmm.
and say, guys, this is how I'm doing it though. It's not magical. Come and learn here.
Mm-hmm.
Supporting them however you can. If you think you're going to end up having all this money and then you'll be surrounded by people living in huts and not being able to take care of themselves, surrounded by all this poverty, I pity you, because one day the devil will inspire them to hate you so much because
Mm-hmm.
they're like, oh, I guess it must be juju. Which anyway,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I pray God
Okay.
help us.
Amen. 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 We just have to keep doing better as a community, and we have to keep doing better for ourselves, and like take advantage of your community, take advantage of your family members, because those are
Yeah.
the people that wants this, at least they want the same things as you do, right? They grew up with you and they
Mm-hmm.
understand the pain points, like where we came from, that story.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Anyway, I think we've come to the end of today's show. Oh, I don't want it to end.
It was amazing. It was
Oh,
amazing.
it's great.
Yeah, first
Yeah.
time I'm on live, so from my
Yeah,
side, yeah, I'm
yeah.
so happy to be here. Yeah,
Thank you
thank
so
you
much
so
for
much.
agreeing to join
Yeah,
me. I will
thank
bring you
you.
back because we have a lot more. We have like so much
Yeah,
to talk about on this topic because we've not even talked about like stocks and the real nitty-gritty, like when we've talked about businesses, that's great. We've talked about local
mm-hmm.
businesses, we've talked about investing in yourself, we've talked about investing in a community or building a community online and offline. We've talked about so many different, little nuggets involving God, involving your faith, not
Yeah,
forgetting why started that business in the first place. So I think we have to be back because the people will want us to come back.
yeah, definitely. We'll work with better, more um, existing examples of what you can actually do going forward. So,
Yeah. Well, you guys, as per usual, go and have a wonderful, productive week. Um, I like to say you don't want to have a bad weekend and then you end up having a horrible week like this. Why? Don't do that. That's not cool. So I wish everybody a great week and I hope you come back and join us next week. Well, next Sunday. I will be
yeah,
back. I don't know who will join me as guest, but if you follow me on social media, if you check the description of this video, you will see my social media, you will see Freckie's social media, you can follow us and come back for more.
thank you so much.
Yay!
Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you so much, Saidi. Love you.
I love you so much. Thank
Bye.
you. Okay, bye for now. Bye, bye, bye.
Bye.